So G2 aren't going to have Hooxi for IEM Dallas. And I would argue, you know, out of all of the teams that, like if you look at the pressure that Team Liquid are under, why are G2 not under that pressure? It seems very strange to me. And I told you about what happened at the Major, and it's kind of relevant here. Hooxi came up to me at the Major and said, look, mate, you know, I went up to him and said, look, commiserations. I really thought you were going to have this one. And we talked a little bit, and he said, look, mate, I know you've shat on me online and, you know, you said all these things, but I think CS is a better place with you in it. So, you know, keep up the good work. And obviously very humbling, because I have said I don't think you should essentially have a tier 1 professional career. It's not like I've been shy in my criticism, but he's took it like a champ, you know? And you've got to respect that, because most players don't. Well, you know, the conclusion I've rapidly been arriving at is what happened at the Major, it wasn't on Hooxi. I don't think so. How long can they go with Hunter playing like this? Nico is starting to get back to, you know, shades of his old self. But the drop-off on Hunter is profound. And I don't understand how you can have a team with Munassi and Nico and you just can't win. Like, that is wild to me. And I'll say this, and this will shock you. While I still don't necessarily have confidence in Hooxi as a tier 1 IGL, his individual level of play has improved significantly in CS2 over the past few months. He's no longer operating at the 0.8 he was at the end of CSGO. He's operating at 0.9. He's sometimes coming up with a 1.0 HLTV rating, which I recall everyone was praising Carrigan for doing that. So it's not about his play. The difference is you used to have an aggressive rifling stud that could fucking kill everyone, and they don't have that now. Hunter's just been missing in CS2. No IGL can overcome, like, the whole premise of the G2 core, supposedly, theoretically, should have had an era, is that it had 3-star players. You know, it's not like a phase super team, but it had 3-star players who were all playing incredibly well and popping off. And when you added JKS having a pop-off tournament to that, guess what? They won tournaments. Any dip in any part of that, and it fell apart. And that's why I put the pressure on Hooxi. Now, nah. They've had bad vetoes. That's not all on him. They've had Hunter performing poorly. They made a decision to bring Nexa in. It hasn't really been vindicated yet. These aren't Hooxi's, you know, problems. He's not done this. So I said Hooxi's not the reason they couldn't make it to the final of the Major. I think they should have been. Anyway, he's not going to be at IEM Dallas, and I'll just bring up the reason why. There was a lot of people, they went and they like intimated, oh, this is the start, this is how they're gonna get rid of him. But apparently he just had a previous engagement and he's gonna be at his sister's wedding. And by the way, that's exactly the type of thing you miss a tournament for. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. It's a once in a lifetime, hopefully, event. Obviously, you fucking go to that. You know, I know it's tough as a fucking pro player. You have to make some fucking sacrifices here and there, but I wouldn't miss that. I'm going to be there for that. Sorry. So, Hooxi isn't going to be there. And so I was like, okay, well, this is interesting, because if you ever were going to cut the man, this is when maybe you look at an option. Someone in free agency, you roll the dice on that, or you bring in somebody interesting, you know, or maybe you even reach out to a team that isn't attending and you say, hey, can we loan a player? Maybe you just go, fuck it, and you bring Simple in again on one of them one-tournament contracts. You just launched a project. I'm sure he'd love to be playing, right? But they didn't. They didn't do any of that. In fact, they actually managed to bring in a worse player than Hooxi. And I was like, that shows they don't care about winning this tournament. If we're not going to win with Hooxi, we're just not going to win. And so they went for, yeah boy, Stewie 2K. Starbucks 2K is back. back in the game. Remember when he did that video and he was saying he was happy in Valorant and he hated CS and he hated competition and everyone should shut the fuck up about it. You shouldn't even write an article praising him because he's just sick and tired of people like picking at his career. Well, he's been trying to get back in, hasn't he? And so Stewie 2K is standing in for the in-game leader. And by the way, he has aspirations of being an in-game leader in what must be... I've never seen anyone, personality-wise, like, just this is where they are now. Remember, Stewie, he used to be a sweetheart. And I don't know what happened. Ego monsters are terrible things when they get in your brain. Once he started heading down this IGL tip, you know, he was bickering with the Leash, bickering with Fallen, very, you know, my way or the highway kind of style. And I just don't think he's got the chops. I don't think he's got the smarts. I don't think he's got the personality. I don't think he's got the gravitas to be an IGL. And for G2 to bring him in, I mean, I assume he can't be calling, but he is replacing the IGL, so I don't even know what insane shit show that's going to be. But there he said, thanks G2 Esports for the chance to compete and to potentially play in front of a home crowd in IEM Dallas. Grateful for this opportunity and to be able to play with the best rifler in the game, G2 Nico, and a young star AWPer. Bit weird he didn't tag Muncie there and just called him a young star AWPer. I think we can avoid referring to him as a young star now. Like, Muncie is an established player. He's on course to be up there for the #1 HLTV ranking this year. But anyway, and I don't know why you haven't tagged him. Just looks weird, but, you know, Stewie doesn't think about these things. There's probably some reason. Maybe Muncie said, hey, do you want to get a coffee? And he went, fuck, man, I don't know you like that, man. Ugh. Get away. Anyway, see you in Dallas, homie. See you in Dallas, yeah? Says there, appreciate all the love y'all bring in. I'll see you there in Dallas. Let's have some goddamn fun. Well, look, okay. I can respect that, by the way. What I will say I like about this pick is, first of all, it's great for the fans. You know, if you're an NA fan, ESL has fucked you over so many times, particularly with Dallas as the stop, right? You buy your ticket well in advance, don't you? And then they go, oh, sorry, Navi have been replaced by Greyhounds. And you go, oh, fuck off. How many times have they done that to you? And then also, just in general, you know, like, if you're a new fan, you thought you were never going to see Stewie play, right? You thought you might never see Stewie 2K play ever again. Well, now you're getting a chance. It's actually good. Now, listen. It's going to be like when you watch that Legends 5-a-side soccer tournament and you go like, wonder what happened to Rude Hullet. And he just comes out and he's got a beer belly and he's slow and, me fucking knee. And he can only do 5 minutes. You're getting that version of Stewie. But it's still nice to see Stewie 2K play. He's one of the all-time greats. He's a future, not first ballot, not second ballot, not third ballot, but he is a future Hall of Famer. Played in that great Liquid team, won the Boston Major in Cloud9. Was a phenom when he burst through. It's why everyone laments his wasted talent. And the other part I like is it shows G2 love Hooxi. They're not cutting Hooxi, because they didn't risk picking up anyone that could fill Hooxi's shoes. Because Stewie absolutely can't. In any way. And I mean, not even in fragging. You're going to go, Richard, that's mental. Hooxi is a better player in CS than Stewie 2K is now. Fact. Do you know how I know? Because we seens it. Didn't we? Right? We seens it. These are Stewie's stats, remember? He came back before he came back, right? And he'd been, you know, he hadn't played for ages. And then Legacy got rid of Cold Zero. And Stewie said, oh, I'll come in and I'll be an IGL and play for you and we'll see what happens. So there you go, right? This is Stewie 2K's recent outing at Legacy. When he played Liquid, remember, we've already talked and highlighted how Liquid is struggling. He managed to rack up a whopping 0.66 HLTV rating. Oh, and then followed that up with an incredible 0.58 rating. Don't worry, though. He smashed the shit out of Elevate on 2 maps before dropping a 0.62 rating again. Then against M80, one of the upcoming teams in NA, love what they're doing. once again, on Vertigo, you'll notice Mirage, Vertigo, you know, smashed the shit out of them on one map, but played dog shit on the other two. And overall, his time in Legacy, his rating is diabolical. If you take out those two maps, it's beyond a joke. So, Hooxi isn't doing that, right? Like, Hooxi, by contrast, while he might not have as high a ceiling, was actually producing more consistent ratings. And I'll show you, because you'll go, no, he wasn't. And you'll see a lot of red. But you can see, with the exception of these two here, which was against Mouse. Mouse are fucking god tier right now. Maybe even the best team in the world, but that's a conversation for another time. He's got a 0.96, a 1.15, a 0.94, a 0.97, a 0.88, a 1.2. And he's playing opponents, generally speaking, of a higher level. Now, people are going to complain about sample size, but the opponents that he was playing, I know. Like, why would we expect Stewie to ever get back? Why would we expect Stewie to take this super long hiatus where he's just been playing a bit of Valorant, tried to go pro there, failed, playing a bit of CS, just casually pugging and whatnot? Why has anyone got high expectations for this? It's actually wild. But I've seen people are saying, hey, like, no, let them cook. This could be good. I've even seen some people on Reddit say, this could be a permanent replacement. Like, absolutely not. And if that is the way G2 are going, then they're a fucking meme. They're a meme team. They can't be taken seriously. No, I think the read is this. They've brought somebody out that the crowd are going to love. It's going to give them a lot of support in Dallas. Well, they've obviously got a diminished chance to win, but they've done this to get the crowd on side. And also, it shows Hooxi, hey, look, he's not a threat to you. Your position is safe. Go enjoy the wedding. See you when you get back. Now, that is a good question, isn't it? Braz Irish, first-time chatter. What if they win? Now, I'm going to say they're not going to win, right? I'm pretty confident they're not going to win, right? But it is an interesting question. Obviously, I will immediately pivot publicly to saying Hooxi was the problem. So just want to prepare you for that. But I'm not going to need to do that because Stewie's going to struggle at this level. And G2 are already pretty incohesive in terms of when they try and do strategies and calls and tactics. So no, I think the field is too strong, as we saw. Realistically, this is a tournament that sort of doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So FaZe will probably win it. Mouse will capitulate because it's fucking... it's on stage in front of a crowd. Vitality, maybe. Spirit. They're all viable choices. The other aspect to this is, if you recall, Nexa used to be in IGL. And Nexa said he doesn't want to be in IGL anymore, that he doesn't like being in IGL. So they could try out Nexa as an IGL. They could. And maybe that's the long-term solution. Maybe Hooxi is going to leave. I don't know. Things were weird at the major, it seemed. I don't know. I saw on Hot Take point made. I can't remember who it was, but someone said they should get rid of Taz. It might have been Kassad. I can't agree with that. Taz has barely been in the job. So we're going to wait and see. But for me, I think this is one of those pickups where you go, it's just a write-off. We're going to write the tournament off, let our IGL go and have a holiday. We're going to bring in Stewie. It's just a bit of fun. Don't take it seriously. And the funny part is, they're going to win their first match because they're playing Falcons. You can't lose that. Falcons are dog shit. So it's going to be interesting. But for me, don't call it a comeback because Stewie, he just doesn't have it anymore. He doesn't even have the right attitude to ever get it back. It's not happening, unfortunately. And look, I'll eat my words if he comes out all guns blazing, proves me wrong, and carries G2 into a deep run in this tournament. But I think he's going to get found out, and I think it's going to end pretty quickly.